Hey, everybody. Today we have a super amazing mind and business mini habit that can help you achieve your goals with less stress and resistance. Sounds good, right? So, if you are an entrepreneur that has big goals and wants to have more clarity around how to do all of that without sacrificing yourself in the process, this episode is 100% for you. So I wanted to welcome you all to the Entrepreneur Expansion Show. This is the first ever gamified show that helps entrepreneurs master their subconscious mind, body, and business by implementing micro habits into their lives in a fun, supportive, action oriented way to create more transformational impact and income. I'm your host, Matt Travis, the founder of The Potential You. And if you are a service based business owner wanting to break through a sales slump and implement our consistent 5 figure months formula, where we ethically uplevel your premium offer, positioning, marketing, and most importantly, mindset, click the link in the show notes below, and we will get you an individualized plan to generate 10K or more in the next 30 days. We have such a fabulous guest on the show today. This is Roxandra Nechita, and she is an amazing stress management coach and clarity coach, and really gets into the deep neuroscience behind clarity and how clarity is the bridge between stress and action. So, thank you so much for coming on and dropping knowledge today, Roxandra.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you for having me. And good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to everyone who's listening. I'm glad to be here. So, yes, you are right. I learned the hard way what clarity really means. And I had to go through a really difficult journey. I've been in a really dark place for like 4 years, dealing with anxiety, with
Mm,
depression. I was stuck on a bed for like 4 months. I couldn't move at all. So I literally had to learn again to believe in myself, to believe in my body, to have the strength and to have a purpose again. And
yeah,
this is how, step by step, I was journaling, lucky enough. And this is how I discovered that the power is inside me. And
yeah,
like you mentioned, this is something that really helped me and my clients to get that clarity we needed because our brain, believe it or not, loves certainty. So the prefrontal
yep,
cortex, that's the one that it's always there for focusing very well and making sure you have confident decisions and you take action. It's the CEO of your brain.
totally.
However, if you don't really do that on a daily basis, and if you're not really aligned, and if you're not really clear of what you want to do, then amygdala kicks in. So what that means is the stress, right? The stress zone. And when that happens, you're overwhelmed. You're really worried. You go on that route of like a hamster, which is
Totally.
it's really crazy. And self-sabotage kicks in, anxiety, procrastination, all of that. So now you're in a survival mode. So you can't really have clarity there. So like you said at the beginning, clarity is the bridge between stress and action. So in order to take action, you do need to know where do you go. So sometimes I'm just
Love
saying
that.
you just need one step, You don't need to see the whole picture. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment because the perfect moment is not coming. So if you see a step, just go for it. Just go for it because
Love
everything
this.
else will flow.
Yeah, that you just explained the exact reason why I created this podcast. This show here is literally because our subconscious mind needs this one step, right? This micro habit, micro action to actually move forwards because it's chasing safety, certainty, familiarity, all of the things that makes it feel like it can go and do those things. So by
Yeah.
you giving people clarity, which is an interesting thing because I've talked with clients about this before. Clarity is a funny thing that everybody needs. Every single person needs it, but they don't often buy it because it is something that they don't realize that it is the bridge between
Mm,
the stress and action. So I love that this is what you do and it can help people see. So, why? Let's go into that. Why is this so important? Why is it so important for people to have the right clarity so that we
Hmm.
can ultimately teach them an awesome mini habit to get there.
Of course. So I would say that actually it's the case of you need to make the switch from survival to strategy. So
Mm,
that means you need to have intentional choices of what you do, how you act, how you feel, in order for you to move forward and to
yeah,
be who you are and who you are meant to do, to be in this world. Because in order to have success in business, especially in business, you need to be true to who you are because everything flows. Everything, honestly, magic is right there and it's in you.
yeah,
You just need to understand what you are really good at. What do you do with passion? What do you do with pure energy? So this is one tip I will say. Look for the things that brings you joy and gives you energy. So it's so essential to actually have a really look and see what do you find difficult in doing? What you don't like doing? What drains your energy? And then the secret will be if you still have to do them, try to combine one task that brings you joy and energy with one task that actually drains your energy. And if you're
love
in
that.
a better stage of business, and then maybe you have a capital and you can hire someone else, then hire someone else to complete the task that you don't really like doing. You feel it's time consuming, you feel you're not good enough for them. And guess what? You're going to find that person that actually brings her or him joy, and they are really good at that. And this is how you build your team. And it's just so much easier. Everything gets to be easier. So I know
Love
what you're
that.
saying because we don't realize we need clarity because we don't even know what that means. So I have three
Totally.
questions. Usually I'm like, okay, here you go. Three questions that you can actually start asking yourself now if you really want a transformation for you in your personal life and also in your business. First one is what do you need? What do you truly need? You really have to start asking for what you need. So when I'm saying asking, it's a case of, when someone is like, even in a relationship, if you're married, it's like, oh, what do you want for your birthday? Oh, nothing or whatever. But actually,
Mm,
you want something specific. Why you're not saying it? You know? So make sure you know what do you need. If it's maybe it's time, maybe it's love, maybe it's more money, whatever it is, and then go chasing that. So your values, your needs, and your beliefs are the foundation. This is how everything starts, especially in business. And then I will say, really, the second question is look at where do you spend your energy? Where do you spend your time? Because we all love to be busy. We all love to do things. And if you're spending 2 hours creating your new Canva workbook, spending on graphics, guess what? Will that bring you a really good income in your business? So where do you spend your energy? You probably want to spend in making calls or making sales or making connections or launching that new program that you've been working for ages on, right? So this is the second thing. Just prioritize one or two tasks each day for your business. That's it. One or two tasks that will actually move you forward to accomplish what you really, really want. And put your energy into that instead of doing 10, 20, 30 things and like, I'm overwhelmed. Like I did that and that and that. And guess what? You haven't moved even one step closer to your big goal. And this is when overwhelm kicks in,
it happens
because
all
you're
the time,
exhausted.
right? Yeah, it happens
Absolutely.
all the time.
It does indeed. And then the third question is a really important one. And the majority of us, we are missing it is who is in your corner? Who is there for you? Who is there for you to pick you up? Who is there for you to say, well done? Who is there for you to really, truly be happy for your success? Who is there in your corner to go and say, I have a problem, I need help? It's really important to have a team or to have someone who really understands you. So
Mhm.
networking and having a community and being surrounded with people similar with your mindset, like driven and purpose and motivated.
Mm,
And because it's okay, not everyone needs to see your vision and not
totally.
everyone needs to believe in you. It's enough for you to believe in yourself, but you do need to be surrounded by others with the same kind of energy someone who sees potential in you, because we all have our days and, good and bad, but you do need someone in your corner.
I love all of these steps. It's really helpful to see how they all connect together, and it's really helpful to see why each one is important. And there was something you said that really stood out to me as such a powerful micro habit that could create such transformational results for people, that it's so simple but yet so powerful, where you were saying, you stack one thing that's positive with something that really resonates with you, that you feel called to do, with something else that maybe isn't so aligned with your vision, right? I call it red tape stuff versus aligned vision stuff, right? So it's, how can you create this energetic flow rather than going super high and super low? It keeps you in that nice energy and frequency of having that clear, like, hey, I know that this needs to get done, and maybe you could, like you said, maybe you could outsource and all that stuff. But there's some people in the beginning that they can't comprehend outsourcing, or they just don't feel like they can do that. So it's going to make it so much easier and feel so much less resistance when you can stack them together, right? Is that
Yes,
sound correct? Okay.
it does, absolutely. And another thing they can also do, this is something that really worked for so many years for my clients. It's a case if they don't really have the capacity to outsource now.
Yeah.
So it's fine. We are all starting from somewhere. So what you can do, start your day with one or two tasks that are really difficult and are really hard for you to do. And then you can reward yourself later on in the afternoon to do something you really enjoy.
Perfect.
So always start with something hard. If it's a sale, something that you really find hard, like maybe strategy or sales or marketing or whatever it is that's hard for you. And then just say like, okay, all right, I'm gonna go and now I'm gonna do the creative part because we all love
Yeah.
creativity. And you know what I saw so often, especially because I'm working with coaches, they have lots of amazing ideas. And it's so easy for them to create content, to create a new
Totally.
program, to create. So they are starting with lots of enthusiasm, with lots of brilliant ideas, and they do it. Like they start, for example, creating a course. And then half the way through, they feel stuck. Guess what happens? They stop doing it and then they move and change and start something else. They will probably start a new
Mm,
program. They're going to work on the new program. And then guess what? They will stop halfway through or almost in the end before it needs to be published, before it needs to be, sent in the word. And then they will
yeah.
start something else like, oh, I'm going to write a book now. So why is this happening? Exactly for the same reason, because they don't know how to manage, the things that are really important for them. And also because they are terrified. The fear kicked in. When they stop, this is when the fear kicked in. They start
Yeah.
in saying, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe nobody will buy. Imposter syndrome kicks in and all the procrastination kicks in. And it's so easy to go for the shiny objects and just move to a new creative idea instead of
Sure.
pushing and move forward because that's cool. Like if you feel like you have a challenge in your life, that's amazing. You need to look for challenges because all the magic happens after the challenge. So
Yeah.
once you feel stuck, you just have to push a bit harder and just go for it. And a really good thing that really changed my life completely, it was a case of instead of looking for perfectionism, because I was horrible. I was like, oh, it's just me. I can do everything just the way I do it. It's perfect. And
Yeah.
I always spend lots of energy and lots of time. And yeah, this was in doing everything last minute just because this is what, I thought is the right thing to do. So instead of perfectionism, change that and say, I look for progress and I'm going
Yeah.
to do it messy. And this is it. My goal is to do it messy. Let's see how messy I can do this.
I
And then you
love
put
it.
that as a goal, it's going to be messy. And this is it. And you change it's incredible. Honestly, it's a life changing, especially in business as well.
That was our first episode, was imperfect action. That was our first micro habit for them to go do. So I'm all on board with that micro habit. So I really love this is the micro habit, folks. It's the do the hard thing first. I love that. It's perfect. And I when I started getting into ice baths, that was the first thing I did in the morning because it was a really difficult thing to do, but it allowed me to manage my dopamine throughout the day. And that's kind of what you're saying there, where it's like when you do the things that are hard in the beginning, and then you're not chasing. So another example of this, folks, is if you're, let's say you have cake for breakfast and you get to watch your favorite movie in the first thing of the day, everything else is going to feel so much harder throughout the rest of the day because you're on that you're chasing dopamine for the rest of the day. Whereas if you're doing the hard things first, it's going to make it a lot easier. So if you accept this habit, if you accept this challenge, folks, you can, like always, jump into the community, say, type committed. And then when you type committed, you are going to then choose. Okay. The second step to this is choose how many days a week that you're going to do this, right? So you get to decide what feels subconsciously safe to you. Like, how many days can I actually be committed to doing this, right? Maybe it's 1 day a week, 2 days a week, however many you feel comfortable and confident to do. And then you are going to start to go and take this difficult action first thing in the morning. And then you can go into the group and type done. And then, of course, you get points and rewarded for going through this mini habit and hence the gamification of this entire process. So I am excited to see you go and do this, folks, and actually start to take action on Roxandra's amazing little micro habit that is going to have a big ripple effect. You'll find that you're going to get so much more done, and it's going to feel more in alignment with you because you're doing the hard things first, okay, or the things that feel hard. So if they were trying to find you on the internet to go deeper down the rabbit hole with you, where can they locate you?
Yes, so they can find me on Facebook. It's Roxandra Maria Nechita.
Love it.
Also, I have a community called Super Moms Magic Circle, which is a Facebook
Perfect.
community. My YouTube channel is called Roxandra, very easy.
Yep.
And I will put a different, I have obviously LinkedIn and Facebook, Instagram and
Love it.
all sorts. Yeah, but I think those would be the main ones. Or Stress
And
Away Zone is the company's name.
great. And we'll put all that in the show notes. And of course, it'll be in the school community as well, where you can go and access that. And I say this at the end of every episode, folks. We are real human beings. We love connecting with people. So please, if you have questions, reach out, like connect with us, message us, because we're here to actually guide and support you along this entrepreneur expansion journey. And it's harder to do this alone. That's why we have these communities so that people can actually feel connected and feel supported as they're in their journey and no matter what habit they're working on. So
Absolutely. You need
yeah, I
to
love
have
it.
someone in your corner, remember?
Bingo.
You need that.
Exactly. Exactly. So I absolutely love all of this. Thank you so much for showing up and just sharing so much amazing knowledge with us today. And like always, folks, I always end the same way. Remember, subconsciously, it's about showing up, taking action, and you will get results. Have a fantastic rest of your day.